Hello, HuntChef Nation. Today we're here at the Outdoor-Rama show. My main man Tim with his YouTube channel, he's filming this whole thing. Today we're going to throw down a really easy but delicious walleye recipe with these beautiful Lake Erie fillets we got here. But we're going to give a little bit of a southern twist with my seasonings, and we're going to make a succotash, throwing back to my days cooking in South Georgia. So you don't want to miss this one. How's that, Tim?
Good.
5 seasons on TV, you kind of get, in the hang of it, trying to open things up. So anyhow, I'm Chef Jeremy Critchfield. I founded HuntChef in 2009. In the heyday of my, what we'll call my resort hotel career days. But I cooked and worked all over the country at all 5-star, 5-diamond resort hotel properties. And it was a fantastic culinary education and career. I got to cook literally alongside folks from all over the world. Russia, China, South America, Indonesia, you name it. And it was pretty humbling, growing up as a redneck in Southwest Pennsylvania, living on squirrels and ducks and rabbits and deer with my granddad. Well, we ate really good. But then to go to culinary school and get out into the world and cook alongside people from all these different cultures with their own cuisines from their own regions, not even just their own countries, was pretty awesome. First thing we're going to do here, we're going to just put our fillets into sort of some nice sized nuggets, so everybody's got a taste test. And I'm going to do a little bit extra, hoping we have a few more people join us here. That's usually how it goes. They don't always like to sit in through all of my yapping. They like to show up at the end for the taste test, But that's okay. It's all good. So as we knock these down into these nuggets, we talked just briefly a minute ago before we got started about how this could be doing the same thing, this very simple, straightforward stuff done with venison. These could be squirrel leg quarters, rabbit quarters, pheasant breast or goose breast chunks, any of your wild proteins, or the one that got away. There's always that one. I didn't have my net ready. Or we could be chunking up chicken thigh or breast from the store. Just really what I want to talk with you guys as far as another one trying to get off. This is my small cutting board. I don't know why I packed it instead of the big one. But anyhow, the way that our business operates now, at our core, we're a seasonings company. So I've got 12 that I call the Delicious Dozen. 2 of them are going to go on our walleye fillets here right now. One, this is called Smoky Bayou. Anybody know where Brunswick, Georgia is? So straight down 95, stop about an hour north of Jacksonville, Florida, right on the coast, and that's Brunswick. So just to the east of Brunswick, right on the coast though, are some islands. Sea Island, St. Simon's Island, Jekyll Island, and I got to cook and work down there for about 4 years. It opened a really fancy private hotel, lodge, golf club and stuff, and it was great because I got to cook alongside true Southern cooks and chefs that have been working there for 40 years, were from the area. And so the reason I mention all that is because Smoky Bayou, I grew up in Southwest Pennsylvania. I hadn't seen it. My granddad used to get smoked oysters in a can and eat them like candy when I was a kid. But I'd never seen a fresh, hey, this one's not open yet. I'd never seen a fresh oyster. Well, I guess maybe at culinary school, but once I got down there and really, I'd never been in that fresh oyster shucking culture before. But those people were serious about their oysters, whether it was raw in a half shell, baked Rockefeller, or whatever style. We used to do what we called oyster roasts, where we'd have a big charcoal or wood fire and just start dumping oysters on this thing. Basically, we didn't really roast them. They kind of steamed in their shell, but once they started to pop, and then we would just, they were so hot, you get a towel or a big heavy glove, and you had that, and you're just shucking and handing them out as fast as you could. All that Smoky Bayou I came up with as a blend, as a dry rub sprinkle for oysters on the half shell. And everybody loved it. But then we started putting it on everything else. Everybody loved that too. So that's the story behind Smoky Bayou. Now this one that's going on right now is called Straight Out of the Bay. So everybody's seen or used Old Bay before, right? This is my version. First thing you'll notice, all those dark specks, lots of celery seed. And there's a lot of it in a lot of those Chesapeake Bay type flavors. I mean, there's tons of different seasoning lines and brands out there that kind of focus on that. But this is my version, and I like it a lot. So it's obviously great on anything out of the water, awesome on your duck or any of your waterfowl. And it also, in my humble opinion, makes the best Bloody Mary rimmer on planet Earth. So if you like a good Bloody Mary, you might want to check out some HuntChef straight out of the bay. All right, so we've got our seasoning, Smoky Bayou and straight out of the bay on all of our walleye nuggets here. So with that, again, this could be venison backstrap, your goose or your duck breast all chunked up. We're just gonna let that dry seasoning start to set into the meat and get that flavor locked in while we work on starting our succotash. So really straightforward. The only thing I knew about succotash before I went to cook in Georgia was Bugs Bunny. It always said suffer and succotash, right? So this is my not so suffer and succotash. And this is the very, very base version of that. You can take this in as many directions as you would like. You like my trash can? You can get that at Walmart. It's only a couple bucks. The base thing you have to have in a true succotash is lima beans, corn, and rice. So we're only adding a little bit of onion to this, but people do it with fresh tomatoes, stewed tomatoes, different broths. You want to do spicy peppers, sweet peppers, a lot of different ways you can go. But today we're just using just the onion, sweated out in a little bit of butter. And you saw us chunk up the walleye earlier, now dicing up the onions. This is the one and only. This is the HuntChef Battle Axe Cleaver. There are some that are sort of kind of close, but none this nice. And after making a living with a knife in my hand for 37 years, this is the only knife that I put my name on, and I say it's the knife that never takes no for an answer. So when you guys get one of these at the house, you can do anything you want with it, whether it's dice up veggies, processed game, or any other meats. I put the hook on here on the top, so if you want to make bone broth, but you don't want to screw up your edge, you just flip it over. You still got a great grip up in there. Lay that bone down, even if it's, you want to make fish fumet, fish broth, you want to do anything out of chicken or your pheasant carcasses, just bust them up. Venison legs, then you're not messing up your edge. The other thing that hooks, I call it the horn. When you're going to rock or chop garlic or carrots or onions, it's a great, you know where your hand's at all times, so you can get a good rock and roll going there. So with our onion teed up, we're going to kick the heat up in the skillet here, and we're going to get some whole butter going. Now you can start with anything you like. Anybody cooking with any tallow at the house these days? Beef tallow, rendered pork fat, pork lard, rendered chicken fat, the juice. We've got to have the butter. So easy peasy in there. Following that up, we've got our corn and our lima beans that we talked about here a minute ago. Oh, the other thing, can't believe I didn't say this first. We're all friends here. Anybody has any questions about this, cooking any game, any domestic stuff, don't put your hand up or anything crazy. The onions are softening up. We're even getting a little bit of browning. I like a little bit of caramelization on the onions for this dish, not a lot, but everybody's got their own taste. So again, using the water today, this could be chicken broth, beef broth, you make your own venison bone broth, whatever the case might be. All we want to do is really hydrate everything enough to bring all the flavors together, and then it also helps heat everything all the way through. And then 3 seasonings we'll be adding in out of the delicious dozen here in just a minute. It's kind of crazy how much, I always tell everybody, I never get sick, but every winter I get something in my chest. It's just, like right now, like I can feel myself running out of air faster than normal. I don't know what it is. Congestion. Anyhow. All right, so we're softened up and colored up just a little bit. So we're gonna go ahead in with the corn. And anybody bag or freeze or can their own sweet corn at home in the summertime? That's my favorite, but I've been a nut for sweet corn ever since I was a little kid. And then those lima beans. So my quick, come on, there we go. My quick lima bean story. I was lucky enough to grow up with 3 grandmas. One of them was my step grandma, and she had a very strong German heritage. And like 50% of her cooking, I loved. The other 50%, I'd like hide in the closet in my room, and you couldn't drag me out because I wasn't eating that stuff. One of that stuff was lima beans. Oh my God, I can't stand it. But now that my palate's matured along with my personality, I can sit and eat lima beans with some butter bread till I'm sick. So anyhow, just a little bit in here, and you got to have it for that traditional. Why can I never remember the name? Succotash. Oh my God. Okay, first seasoning going in. This is all dusted up. So everybody's probably got like a Lowry's or some type of seasoning salt at home. So I call this my big kid season salt because it's like that seasoned salt base that all Americans seemingly love, but with a little bit of sweet, a little bit of pepper, and a little bit of herbs. So we're gonna get just enough of that in there. Next one going in, I mentioned earlier, I grew up with my granddad, basically murdering and eating everything. So this one's named for him. This is my speed beef rub. He always called deer meat speed beef. So this is he was the master of, the old school kind of enamel roasting pans, have the lid of the oven. He was the master of that thing, and so much of what he cooked when I was growing up was done in one of those. And that seasoning blend that he put together really is kind of what I tried to recreate here. But just my great medium savory flavor, awesome on anything on the grill, crock pot, slow cooker, wild game, beef, whatever you want to cook with. Lastly, we're going to bring a little bit of heat with my straight out of Pontchartrain. So anybody ever heard of Chef Paul Prudhomme? So Paul Prudhomme, he made blackening as a cooking technique famous in the 80s by blackening redfish out of Lake Pontchartrain in the state of Louisiana. Culinary hero of mine for a long time, and he had a blend out called Redfish Magic. I think somebody probably still owns it and makes it now, but no, thanks Chef, I like mine better. Chef Paul is no longer with us, but what a super guy and an amazing chef. And what he did for food and cooking is still really sticks with me today. So we're going to bump the heat down just a little bit because we're going to bump the heat up for our fish, our walleye, a little bit more. So again, this could be any broth. You can use beer, you can use wine, apple juice, whatever you guys like to use at the house. But again, the purpose of the water, hydrate the seasonings, help us heat everything through, and bring all the flavors the whole way through our little casserole type dish here, a little skillet stew. And we're gonna try and cook most of that water out, not dry it out, but it's also gonna stop any browning from occurring, having that moisture in there right now. So for 37 years, I'm a cook on hot gas fire guy. So these little Walmart electric skillets, you gotta bear with me sometimes. I'm still learning them. There was a fishing show here about a month and a half ago. So I come rolling in with my 6-burner stove, same as I have for this show. Every time, 4 or 5 times I've done it. And it was set up, it must have been Wednesday, it was setup day. And I see a guy in uniform, we're out here setting our booth up, this is at the fishing show. I see this guy kind of in a uniform and he's just standing there looking like this at my booth. I'm just doing my thing. Winds up as a fire marshal. And I can't even have that thing in the building. It's against universal fire code, this, that, the other. I'm like, bro, I've done this here for 5 years already. I do it all over the country all the time. But no, that's international fire code. I'm like, I think you're full of shit. But I didn't tell him that. I was just like, you bet, you bet. So I hauled the the stove back out, put it on my trailer, went to Walmart that night and sent China, you know, $72 or whatever these two things cost me here. So at any rate, I've haven't cooked with these since I've been, you know what, when I was setting up here on Wednesday, there's not a fire marshal to be seen. I'm like, you guys are killing me. All right, so more butter, everything's better with butter, and we need the fat to transfer the heat from our dry pan to our lean and delicious protein here. Not too much. I might have cut a bigger chunk than I needed, but we're gonna go about that. Let's save this. Well, maybe if I get it out of there. Well, a little extra butter never hurt anybody. Okay, so we want to have the skillet just hot enough that we can brown lightly on the walleye, because we have this is a pretty good load here for a skillet this size. We might even try and cook that in 2 batches, just so we can try and get a little more. So we're simmered, we're warmed through, and our liquid's starting to reduce. So we're going to go ahead and kill that heat back a little bit while we make sure our walleye skillet is good and hot. So it's crazy with these things too. So there's just one ring heating element in here. So the middle is almost as cold as the edges. So you got to kind of balance it. It's not like you got a full hot pan in here.
At home with gas, would you do medium heat?
Yes, absolutely. Medium, low medium, depending on what kind of the pan type. Like if you have thicker, like cast iron, kind of that low medium, get it on there, let it preheat plenty in advance, because it's going to hold it, right? When this cold fish goes into it, or whatever it is that we're cooking. Thinner bottom, something cold going in it drops the heat in that steel a little quicker. So I'll be more towards the medium on a thinner pan. Great question, thank you. I have one glove left. Let's use that. And we're going to strategically, I wish you could see, for Tim's channel, see the butter, you can just start to see the color come around the ring right there. And that's when we know, because we don't want the butter to smoke, right? Because of any cooking fat or oil medium, butter has the lowest, what they call smoke point. And that means that it will start to burn and change the flavor and not be sweet and creamy and delicious anymore, but will start to brown and burn and change the flavor of the butter. And especially in a room like this, with not really high ceilings and a probably pretty stout sprinkler system, we really don't want to be making any smoke in here today. So I'd say that's a pretty nice amount. That's about half. We're just going to have walleye for everybody here. And we're going to let it just kind of do its thing. What can I put? Oh, I know what I can put it in. I try and do as much disposable stuff for these seminars as I can, because there's not always an easy dishwashing situation available to me. So the rest of our walleye we're going to set in here. We're going to give our board a wipe, and we're actually going to start to get ready to make our samples up. Well, you know what? I think that's enough for everybody. Yeah, I'm going to hang on to this because I want to make the sauce right in the pan with this first batch. Sometimes you just got to kind of go with the flow, do what the food tells you to do, you know? Yeah. You guys getting some smells already?
Oh, yeah.
All right, good. Awesome. So we've got our dinner plates here, or sample cups, whatever you want to call them. Any other questions on this dish or cooking anything else? All right. Well, the big thing with my HuntChef platform, you know, we're everywhere. We're on almost every social media platform. I mentioned earlier I did a TV show with a couple of partners for 5 years on Sportsman Channel called Mountaintop Outdoors. The guys are still doing it. I stepped away because we have a market back then. We're based an hour south of Pittsburgh. And our market, I've got a nice deli, butcher shop, and we do a ton of barbecue, a bunch of catering, run a food trailer. So once I get off the show road in April, I got about 2 weeks, and then we switch over, and it's full bore barbecue and catering as my life pretty much through October. And then it's time to hunt, and then it's time to get back on the, enjoy the holidays, get back on the show road. That's kind of how my life just runs on repeat. All right, we're starting to cook through and brown up a little bit. I can't believe I took that last glove off a little bit too early there. This is gonna make it interesting. But these thicker chunks, I think are gonna, oh man, they're just browning up so nice in that butter. I think you guys are really gonna enjoy it. But again, this could be, so if we had say a tougher cut, like if we made some chunks out of a venison neck roast or something like that, we would just add some liquid to this skillet, put the lid on it, let it simmer, let everything tender up. But if we were doing chunked up backstrap or goose breast, we would be doing the same thing right now. But with the market and everything we do back home, we still run HuntChef year round. We've got about 600 retailers around the country now that carry the products. And so if you can't find it in a store near you, we ship online, or ship online orders 3 times a week. But more and more, that does smell good, doesn't it? Can you smell that straight out of the bay seasoning? You're getting a little bit of that celery seed out there. I think you guys are gonna enjoy it. So, we're gonna unplug this guy, get our succotash started here. Into our sample cups. You know what, Mike? Let me try this. I don't want to overcook that, so I think, yeah, that's gonna work really good, right? Work with what you got, kids. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna glaze these walleye nuggets now with what I call locked and loaded. So this is my Carolina mustard barbecue. I've been making this since 1993, long time. I'm gonna drop the heat back a little bit, and we're not gonna go crazy with it. Just enough to glaze them, and you could even, we could pour it over into the cups, but I like to let it get warm with the meat in there, and just kind of let that heat sort of glaze it up. And when's the last time you put mustard on your walleye? It's not like a regular thing, I guess. Even for like this mustard sauce, out of my 3, I'm sorry about the sniffles, my 3 barbecue sauces. So I have this, and then I have my buckshot, which is my original red, sweet and tangy, and then my hot shot, which is my jalapeno honey. And but the mustard in Michigan outsells the other 2 3 to 1. So I hope you guys enjoy it in this dish. We're gonna turn that off. We're gonna get it all put together. So super simple and straightforward. And like I said earlier, anything that I share with you guys, just make it your own. We could have had hot peppers or sweet bell peppers. We could have chunked up some sausage and put in here. A lot of different ways you can take, just the base preparation and let your taste buds and your ideas kind of take it and run with it. But growing up, like I said, with my granddad, I was the kid that would come home from church, change his clothes, go down to the rabbit pen or the chicken coop or the duck coop, drag a couple of live animals out by their hind feet, take them to the chopping block in the backyard, and a couple hours later dinner was served. And that kind of mentality, I think, is lost on a lot of newer generations, because they just don't have that understanding that something has to die in order for you to eat, right? It's just everything comes in a box or a bag or a bottle in the freezer, or now it's, it's you don't even have to worry about that. It's just DoorDash. It's kind of crazy to me as a guy that spent 37 years literally feeding millions of people in my career. I had my own restaurant and catering company and butcher shop and everything for 10 years on top of the resort hotel stuff, and again what I do now on top of all the outdoors. But for folks to just not really have the human baseline of understanding how food really happens is very interesting and very different. So I'm gonna do one chunk. I'm gonna pick the biggest ones out first, and then so we can make sure everybody's got one. Well, how many we got here? 3, 5, 6, 8, 9. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So we're gonna make 9 really nice ones for you guys, and then if anybody else comes in, they can, yeah, they can make do, right? So we just want a little bit of that sauce glaze with each of the couple bites of fish. And you noticed I didn't taste test it before I started packing it up here. I've done it enough that I think I've got you where we need to be.
Confidence.
Confidence, not cockiness.
Confidence.
Experience.
There you go.
Been down this road a few times, you know? So, I came out here Wednesday, out here Wednesday evening to start set up on our booth, and we're, I think we're number 5620 is my booth, and but I'd only been home for 2 days, and the 10 days prior to that, I was out in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, for the big NRA outdoor show, biggest outdoor show in the country, and it's a 10-day run, and out there I cook deer meat, because we break down a whole deer every day. Me and 2 other guys would break it down and we show people how to butcher it, show them how to cook it. But in 9 days, I do 18 seminars. So I was about out of, my voice was going and everything else, and I got home and then I had a little bit of this, whatever this alien is that's in my chest right now. So it's been a run. It's been a run. So this is our little dish here today, guys. Any questions on this or anything else, just holler. You can find me anywhere online. Just search HuntChef, whether it's a website, YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and again, we have a shop on all those channels. But I got a new guy doing our YouTube content. Hey, Mike, hope you see this. And I've got so much footage from all our hunts and all our cooking, everything, just never seen the light of day. And he's working on doing that now. And then if you stay tuned, right now I'm working on, I should have my own TV show out on Pursuit Channel in 2027. But all that footage will go to YouTube also. So you'll see either wherever you wind up. So that's our dish. That's our Southern inspired walleye on the succotash with the mustard glaze. All 5 of the HuntChef seasonings. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Do your best to get the next generation out there in the woods, on the water, get them in the kitchen, help them make it delicious with your old buddy HuntChef, and always eat what you kill. Thanks, everybody. Come on, come get a cup.